Welcome back to Galaxy Battles. We are just about to start Game 2 between EG versus PG.Barracx. We're still waiting for the players to fill up the lobby, but we've got a lot of things we need to discuss here because PG.Barracx, they played decent Dota in Game 1, but I feel like they're capable of taking a game off of EG if they can just get it right.
They're gonna need to put 120%
So
to
they
win
need
a
like
game.
an extra, you're telling me they need an extra player to beat EG?
Yeah, that would do. That's quick math right there.
Thank you. All right. So something we also need to consider. I don't think we spoke about it yet. Actually, maybe Lumi may have. But PG.Barracx are not playing with their entire roster. They're actually playing with their, I believe, coach as their stand-in, because one of the players unfortunately isn't feeling well. So PG.Barracx, they're doing decently with the coach, but sometimes you have to wonder what the team would have been like if they played with their full roster.
Sometimes when life gives you lemon,
You make
lemonade. Yeah, so can go back and be like, what if we had this, right? We don't have it, so let's go out with guns blazing and do our best.
Wow, that was deep, Lumi.
Thank you.
I don't think we're in a Dota tournament anymore. I think we're in a, was it poetry competition?
Sure.
I think I would lose that one. So looks like the game is ready, gentlemen. Let's jump into the draft right now. So we have Evil Geniuses on the Radiant side, PG.Barracx on the Dire side. And, well, looks like it's more or less the same.
So I think last game you were talking about the Dire having the farm advantage with the triangle, the lanes being somewhat stronger on the Dire side. Is there any reason you want to be on the Radiant side?
I always want to be on the Radiant side because
That's where the good guys are, come on.
First, we're the good guys.
Yeah.
And the second one, it feels natural for me to attack from left to right and up and
Oh
down.
man, you've been playing Dota for so many years. You still have that.
Yes.
What if they just like rotate the map and you just can't play Dota anymore? Is it?
I would quit.
There are actually, surprisingly enough, there are a lot of games nowadays where they flip the map. So no matter what side you play on, you always play left to right.
Okay. That's
How
smart.
do you do it?
It just does it for you. You're clearly
For example,
playing
if
the
you're
wrong
playing from the
games.
Dire side, it's as if you're playing on the Radiant side, like the way that you're watching the game.
Oh, I didn't know
We have
that
the technology now.
that it
We
exists.
Yeah.
do have the technology.
So I'm coming to the dark side, boys.
Oh boy, here comes Lacoste, guys. Get ready for him. First two bans is Doom and Earth Spirit. So no Doom. Yet again, your predictions are correct. We're not going to be seeing him today. Earth Spirit, pretty decent ban as well. Rather interested to see if PG.Barracx, they just go on a completely crazy tangent and just pick up an insane lineup. Because this is, they've got nothing to lose right now.
Dire team back.
So for EG, I don't see any reason for them to deviate from their previous bans. I believe Enchantress was, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
EG's turn to pick.
All right.
Solid startup for PG.Barracx, taking up one of the best supports in the meta so far.
Yeah, usually when you see Clockwork in enemy team having first pick, a lot of teams, especially Chinese teams, love to pick Shadowfin to kind of counter it because you don't want to have Clockwork and Shadowfin.
And I think one of the things that you were pointing out during the first series today when we saw the Clockwork Shadowfin is that also provides you a ton of valuable vision throughout the game, which when it comes to Roshan fights is very important.
So Shadow Fiend is available in the pool here for PG.Barracx if they want to go for it, unless they just want to go for the Clockwork. Not to say that Clockwork's always with the Shadow Fiend. Clockwork's amazing as a roaming support in himself, so maybe it could be mind games from PG.Barracx, maybe hoping that the SF is picked up by EG. Who knows? Mind games are amazing in Dota.
I mean, if they pick Shadowfin, Tiny and Tusk are really good counter. Like Tusk is an amazing hero against the Shadowfin. Shards, no escape mechanism, plus a snowball. PG.Barracx with kind of old school combo, Clockwork plus Rubik. You can lift someone into the cogs, put him inside, or just for the extra mana burn. Pretty good setup.
Death Prophet ban on the side of Evil Geniuses. Is there anything that Rubik wants to steal here on Evil Geniuses, or do you feel like you need to wait for the draft to unfold?
10 seconds.
Ice Shards would be too bad, right? Ice Shards and Snowball.
It's not anything super insane like a Sukuchi or a Fissure or anything like that. I think they wanted Rubik just for, not necessarily the steal, but what he provides otherwise. Like, for example, the No Field, the Fable, things like that.
And also maybe just the whole fear factor that there's a Rubik on the field, so you don't want to pick anything like a Tidehunter or anything like a Faceless Void with a big ultimate he could steal, right?
Yeah. Well, you can counter the Rubik picking a hero not skilling anything, so he can't steal it. That's the next level.
We've seen that before,
Oh.
actually.
What game is this?
I believe it's on the Blitz's stream, where nobody skilled anything. They all went passive in stats.
Interesting.
And Rubik could not steal a single spell that game.
Right. Okay. Oh, geez. All right. So Brewmaster going to be the second ban on the side of Evil Geniuses for their second phase. PG.Barracx are looking for their last one. They get rid of the Lycan. They didn't appreciate the Lycan last game, so they say, okay, you guys cannot have it this time. Is this an indicator that they might not have a good clear?
It also could be that they're thinking about a slower strategy, picking up like maybe Anti-Mage or Spectre or some of the heroes, because those heroes just do not want to party with Lycan. But we're going to see a PL here from EG.
Lacoste was saying that PL is one of the most highly contested heroes in the current meta. Why is PL so important?
Because people finally learned how to play Phantom Lancer. Instead of going for BOTs, they're finally building power threads. You don't want to waste 2,000 gold on a second item, but power threads gives you the attack speed and the kind of a different build. Like people are even skipping to max Doppelganger, sometimes even Spirit Lance as well. With his passive, the agility that you gain, that just excels your farm so much, and it fits well for the mid laner as a mid laner, because you're not threatened as other mid laners. They can't really gank you, and it scales well into the late game.
Yep. In this game in particular, Clockwork Cogs is not going to be a valuable disable against PL. And even Rubik, you send a couple illusion on him, he gets pressure very heavily.
Yep.
And we're going to see a Keeper of the Light. So this gives EG the opportunity to run some sort of very aggressive tri-lane. You could just spam the hell out of that safe lane gyro if they want to play it like that.
Absolutely could. I want to say very interesting reaction after the PL pick, PG.Barracx picking up the Gyro. How does Gyro fare against a PL? Does he deal, is he all right? Or
He's
are they
okay.
looking for that early game team fight?
Yeah, well, they needed something to deal with the illusions. So PG.Barracx is actually memeing EG. They're going for Team Rocket build.
Team Rocket?
Gyro,
Team Rocket,
Tinker,
or
and Clockwork.
just bring all the people from the retirement home, the experienced ones that have been on the field.
They need a cat. They could use a Mirana as a Meowth from Pokemons.
That's very true.
Yeah. I mean, this is actually the Rocket build, right? Because you got the Tinker, you got the Gyro, you got the Clockwork, and once Gyro hits 25, then it really goes off. You get the homing missile talent. you get nothing but rockets flying to your face. Oh man.
The PG.Barracx, so draft-wise, do they look like they're decently poised to deal with what EG has right now? They've got lots of wave clear. They have global presence with the Tinker as well. Semi-global with the Clockwork, just because Hookshot's range is so long. Do you feel like they have a better chance this time?
I think the draft personally looks a little bit more even compared to the last game, with one exception. Tiny needs to be controlled. Because if Tiny gets an early blink, I see Tinker, Gyro, Rubik, all of these heroes are food. So you gotta either keep vision on him, or you gotta slow his blink and Shadow Blade timing.
They could use a vision hero. They have a Sigil plus Tusk Shards. Phantom Lancer can cut the trees to find the Tinker, also Keeper of the Light with Aghanim's, but it's gonna take time. So they might go for something early against the Tinker. Depending what they want to do with are they gonna go tri-lane, as you mentioned with Tusk PL Coddle, that's super strong.
So Underlord and Storm Spirit being our final bans. Looks like PG.Barracx, they're actually worried that Evil Geniuses might pick up something very elusive and difficult to catch. Because you look at their draft so far, they've only got the Rubik and, to a certain degree, the Clockwork to catch any of those very difficult, very slippery heroes.
You know what? It's Zeus time.
Is it Zeus time? I feel like a lot of games are good Zeus games, but the players, the captains, never think so. They never pick it.
Because hero feels so weak.
Yeah.
No escape mechanism. You're just a free kill.
A core that can't take buildings.
Here's the Legion Commander.
Yeah, that's one more counter to PL illusions, especially early on.
Sure.
They don't have enough HP to survive the overwhelming odds. Also, they have a good combo. Gyro lockdown, Tinker. If Legion Commander can find the openings with, let's say, a Blink Dagger, they have enough follow-up.
They'll need to be wary of the Tusk Snowball, though. Tusk Snowball and Blinding Light will cause a lot of issues for Legion.
That's true.
I feel like EG, what they're lacking right now is a hero that could help them hit buildings. I mean, they're in a similar situation as PG last game, where you win a fight, you have a PL hitting a building. It's not exactly the most impactful thing. Of course, Tiny gives you a little bit, but
can't really count on the Tiny to do that for you.
I mean, you can. He has the tree grab, but more is always better, I suppose, in this scenario. By the way, Lacoste, have you seen the way that TNC's been playing their PL? They go Battle Fury.
Battle Fury?
With Max Phantom Rush. It's like some next level stuff.
I mean, you can pretty much build Battle Fury on any melee
hero these days, yeah.
I've seen Slark with Battle Fury.
Sure. We'll see
how
if...
does that work? He's got this little dagger. Like, how does that cleave? Does he just like go...
He trade off the dagger for a bigger one in the shop.
Yeah.
That's... You buy a big axe.
Nice justification. 48 seconds left on the clock here for Evil Geniuses, looking for their final hero to finalize their draft. What role are they looking for? Is it an off lane, or do they throw the Tiny in the off lane here? They could try lane again, as you said, Levy.
Yeah. You can't guess. That's the thing about Dota. Right
Evil
now,
Geniuses.
when you have heroes like Tusk, Puck, Phantom Lancer, Clockwork, NS, you really don't know. Only pretty much Misery knows.
Misery knows, and he's got it. It's Zeus time!
I mean, it is good here.
Prediction God with the God pick, huh?
Sometimes I wonder if did he hear you when you said it?
Well,
Zeus time?
Maybe my old friend Misery wants me to look good.
You should probably give him a props.
Thank you, Rasmus.
Thanks. All right, so looking at the draft, who are we going for in this match?
Zeus, huh?
I mean...
You called Zeus time. It makes no sense for you to go against it.
So on paper, EG, what they are really lacking with is the building siege, and I don't think Zeus pick helps with that, right? Like, really. But they do have the chakra magic with the lightning bolt, which is pretty sick. I'm not going to bet against EG. I'm not going to bet against Zeus, so I'm going to go with EG here.
Yeah, I'll go with EG as well. They have such a blown-up lineup, I would call it. Tiny plus Zeus plus Keeper of the Light to reduce the cooldown. Phantom Lancer as well, Tusk. They're just going to blow them up.
And blow them up they will, as it looks like Team Rocket. Are they going to be flying again? We'll have to find out. We're going to throw it over to our casters right now. GoDz and Basskip take it away for Game 2 between EG and PG.Barracx.
Hello and welcome back, Philippines. It is time now for game number 2 of EG versus PG.Barracx. Pretty good game 1 from EG.
Yep.
Definitely looked solid. Didn't really feel like there were any key weaknesses. We'll see PG.Barracx. I mean, they themselves didn't look like they got completely destroyed by EG. They were competitive. What do you make of these game 2 drafts, Basskip?
I'm not a huge fan necessarily of the last pick, Legion Commander, out of PG. I was thinking that they need a little bit more lockdown. I think the PL is going to be quite difficult to catch, and like Lumi was saying on the panel, that they kind of need to control the Tiny if they can. And I think the other thing that they're lacking somewhat, and the Legion Commander brings the lockdown, I think they're lacking a bit of frontline to my mind in this game. Maybe the Gyrocopter is going to be able to tank up and have a good start, and he'll be the first one into fights, but that's not really the kind of hero that Legion Commander is, right? You're often hanging back with your Shadow Blade or your Blink Dagger, you're waiting to scout somebody, and then you go in. Maybe the Rocket Flare from the Clockwork will help out a little bit, but I'm somewhat concerned. And for EG, they have some absolutely disgusting synergy with their Keeper of the Light. The Chakra Magic is so good for every single one of their heroes. I could actually see Misery, whichever lane he goes to, I think that lane is going to get really rocked, just between the spam coming in from both the Illuminate and then whatever Chakra spell he's enabling.
Yeah. One of my big concerns with EG's draft when I first saw Sumail pick up the Zeus was offlane Zeus. I was like, this is not going to work, but Sumail is headed mid. This is what we're more used to seeing. This is, to me, where Zeus is going to shine. He was picked up as the Tinker counter, essentially. The Storm was banned. Zeus with the Aghanim Scepter especially, as well as obviously the ultimate to find the Tinker, cancel the Blink Dagger. You can then lock him down with the Lightning Bolts and the Ags.
Lesser Blue.
So, well, he wants that Curie. He will not find it on the way out. He will find it on the way back.
He's ready for it.
He needs to go through. He needs to go through fast. Did he not see it?
Too late.
He's late. Yep.
All right, messing up a little bit, and he's going to get pinged here by Misery as they see him.
I believe he saw the courier deliver an item, but perhaps just did not time it correctly.
Oh, shards on BFL.
Yep. So BFL last game have a great Monkey King performance. This time he's up against a tri-lane. Gets the movement speed from the overwhelming odds. He's going to try to tangle himself back through the tower, so he'll get out of there okay, but a lot of pressure coming his way as Arteezy playing the off-lane tri-lane PL, not really an off. There really is no off-laner for EG this game in a sense. It's kind of how I look at this draft. It's like a true tri-core lineup.
Yeah, and that is one of the nice things about the EG tri-core now, is that all of their players are, they're all veterans, they're all very experienced. I don't think it's going to be a big surprise at all to see EG kind of playing these musical lanes. You could maybe say that it's, in part due to the fact that they are just using this new, they've just changed the roster. But I think even moving forward, that's going to be a big strength for EG. And that's even been a strength of previous EG incarnations where they've had the flexibility to swap up mid and the safe lane, and now maybe even the off lane getting involved with that.
It always feels like you look at some of the top teams in the world and having offlaners who can play and excel in the 1v1 matchups, can play the pseudo carry role when needed. It's one of the roles where you need the most flexibility, and that's where we're seeing these mid players, often 4-position players, transition to offlane, because if you can transition offlane, it means you're a very flexible player, and offlaners need to be flexible. We're seeing Sumail here, the quote-unquote offlaner for EG, going to the mid lane. Last game he was playing a safe lane 1v1 Nyx. Flexibility definitely a must for that position. Yeah, and you never know, maybe Storm Spirit comes back into the meta and EG just decide, okay, every single time it's a good Storm game, we're just going to give it to Sumail. You think of examples like KP with the Naga Siren. Often he's the one that just gets given the Naga. We got some action on mid. Looks like Sumail might be brought down. Brish just running in with the cogs and finds him. Yep. This was, as much as much as Zeus is a great pick against the Tinker, it was always going to be a rough Zeus game. Clockwork, one of the better counter picks to the Zeus, likely will force out some kind of a 4-star purchase from the Zeus if he wants to stay alive. Rubik also has that null field later on, can block some of that Zeus damage output. I think Brish may have even mind-gamed Sumail there. He picked up the Illusioner and sent one of them bottom and then did the old, I'm going to stand with this other Illusion and just run up mid. And Sumail kind of getting caught out a little bit by that. So nicely done. They're going to get on the board first. Haven't seen a Coddle PL in a while. Oh, action bottom. He's baiting for Brish, who comes in on the Clockwork here. Rubik gets back to safety, but they're going to snowball out. The pushback from the Cogs is not going to save him here as Fear is still in retreat. Nice toss back. Fear will then salve up as well. Well played by EG. They turn around a PG.Barracx rotation. That was a bait that they laid, and unfortunately for them, they did not get the kill. All the little plays from EG there were so nice. Crit waiting with the snowball, hanging on to it, dodging as much of the battery assault damage as he possibly could. Even letting the Rubik run a little bit further away so that they could get further out of the cogs, and then the combination of the ice shards and the toss back, keeping everybody alive. Very well played from EG. But like, if anything, the Rubik needs to stay near the cogs so that when they came out of the snowball, they got pushed back even more. Yeah. But never quite know the best way to play that. Very awkward situation for him regardless. 4 minutes hits. Take a look at how some of these lanes are doing. EG with good CS in all 3 lanes. All of their cores getting close to 20 or more CS. Meanwhile, on the Barracx side, Legion just with 4 CS. Gyro and Tinker doing fairly decent though. Yeah, and the thing is it looks like Misery is also actually finding a decent amount of space to... He hasn't got any stacks set up just yet, but he's actually just retreated straight into the jungle already, and this is where Keeper like gets scared. Sumail trying to get a turnaround kill, but the magic wand as well as bottle charges are there, and Sumail will not turn this one around. Really nice that they get the kill on Shiny as well. Yes. Get those BOTs as fast as possible, get him moving around, being a nuisance. Unlike last game, doesn't really feel like PG.Barracx are under as much pressure to have that fantastic early game. Ooh, we got a snowball in at the bottom lane. The Avatos combo coming through. Rams is quite tanky, but the shards are also there. Auto attacks might just be enough. Fear doesn't have a tree at the moment. Can they punch him down? He tries for the juke with the salve, but no, one more swipe is going to do it. Crit may pay for this with his life as Clockwork comes in there trying to break him out. Can he keep him alive? Crit needs some luck with the battery assault. He's going to get it with the last right click. Fear now needs to be careful. Lip could pull him back into some trouble here. Luckily, the battery assault wearing off should keep him alive, as Lesser Blue does not have boots to chase down the old man. So, very worthwhile 1-for-1 for EG. They forced the support rotations as well, so Sumail able to feel confident even standing on the opposing high ground here over at mid. And despite the deaths doing pretty well in terms of CS, that is one of the nice things about Zeus.
You know, you can pretty consistently get farm in any situation.
And also here, that doesn't need to be like topping the charts as far as overall farm anyways. It can be very effective just with some levels and finding the kills. His job is very much to counter the Tinker, which isn't doesn't require him to outfarm the Tinker.
Yeah, this may also be one of those games where, oh, I got another jump in bottom.
Yeah, this Gyro is having a very, very rough time here. Ram's getting chased, Rubik goes. This time though, the Rubik is there, the toss back onto the Siege Creep with a Zeus ultimate, Sumail securing that kill. Nice bit of extra burst damage. Really feels like this Gyro, okay, there we go. I was about to say, after he died last time, I expect him to buy the raindrop, since he can block a lot of the damage, whether it's the toss, a Zeus ulti. He buys it now after that death, but did not have it after the first one.
I think this kind of lineup, and the Zeus especially, is so brutal for a Gyrocopter to play against. It's really hard to... Oh, I gotta...
Oh, didn't get the cog strap.
Well, just a little drive-by, but it's so hard for Gyrocopters to survive against these nukes. You're getting Avatos comboed, you're getting bolted. You can tank up a little bit as Gyro, but there's just a limit to that, right? You can get a drum, you can get an SNY, but this is also the kind of game where if you buy BKB, even the BKB isn't that secure because maybe you get Avatos comboed or you get bolted before the BKB comes out, and then you're BKBing on half HP anyway, which is not ideal necessarily.
And Zeus is a hero that you don't really get to as a Gyrocopter. He's going to sit back, spam his spells on you, and you don't really have the ability to close that gap. Speaking of tanking up, it's harder to because you're going phase boots typically on Gyro and not getting the treads, so all those little things can add up and make a big difference. Yeah, PLRTZ has got the Battle Fury queued up. I'm not going to see any Diffuser Rush, something that was talked about by the panel, something TNC kind of started doing, and we're seeing a lot more all across the board. Greedier.
I like this build a lot. It sort of trades away a little bit of your first power spike on PL with the Diffusal, but it just makes your game so much smoother overall. And you get to your talents really quickly, and PL actually has some pretty nice talents. Even the level 25 with the crit is potentially very, very impactful. And with the Battle Figure, you farm up to it.
Yeah, I feel like the level 25 is one of the best 25 talents in the game. You're talking about getting like a free level 4 Jug crit. It's a fifth skill for PL essentially in the late game. He's looking for a kill at top, trying to find this Legion commander. Arteezy thought about dodging the overwhelming odds, but instead didn't get caught out here. Nice animation cancel on the overwhelming odds. Caught Arteezy by surprise.
He tried to fake it out with the illusion.
Bottom lane, meanwhile, they're going in again on Gyro.
Body blocks from crit, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get Fear in range. He's still looking for something. Fear now caught out in a little bit of an island here. Crit.
He's going to turn and fight, try and bring down the Gyrocopter with the help of the Zeus here.
Shards.
Has got it. Gets the one kill, trying to get the second one. Crit's going to get himself a double. Nicely played, EG. Snowball back, he hits the Clockwork and gets back to safety. Fear's not done. He's going to have a toss combo, does not get the toss onto the Clockwork though. Just trying to zone him back a bit further. Do they have no shrine to fall back to, but...
Oh, now up top, Legion Commander in some trouble. Going to try for the TP out, but the Illuminate comes through, and BFL is going to drop. Misery picking up that kill.
I feel like we haven't seen Misery, which is like a great thing if you're EG, because that means Misery has been farming. A 5-position farming Coddle. He has not been needed to secure the lanes. EG are winning the lanes while Coddle pseudo-jungles.
Yeah, and the Ags is going to be really, really valuable this game. In terms of, it's tough to break high ground against Tinker. That's one of the features of Tinker as a hero. He's going to slow down the game a lot. He's going to spam. It's difficult to push in. You kind of need a pipe and whatnot, but when you've got the Keeper of the Light with an Aghanim Scepter, you can actually just sit there and soak the rockets, soak up the March of the Machines, and keep your push going.
Seeing the side lanes for PG.Barracx continue to struggle. Gyro, very low farm. Legion Commander is bottom 2 in terms of net worth. That's really more testament to how farmed EG's supports are. I mean, yeah, Legion is struggling, but the fact that EG's supports are both 2k plus net worth, this is looking a lot rougher than the last game, considering we're only 10 minutes in.
Yeah, the PG.Barracx supports have just been trying to put out fires everywhere.
Zeus ulti scouts out the smoke. Perfectly timed from Sumail. It was just a scouting ultimate as well.
Looks like they maybe find Misery here at the bounty rune.
Yeah. No. Pulling back into the cogs here. Misery should go down, but EG may get some return kills here. They're bringing in Sumail. Arteezy as well coming on in. That's going to be a dead Rubik here. The Snowball going to chase after the Clockwork. He hooks away though. That was his level 6 just recently picked up, so we'll have to wait another minute before he's got a hook shot.
I mean, nice that they still managed to find a kill even after their smoke was revealed, but it was just misery at the end of the day. And EG support still farming pretty nicely. Tinker BOT is only 100 gold away, so that's definitely going to be nice, as he'll be able to start moving around a little bit. Just has the farming build, really, though, with the maxed out March of the Machines.
Yeah.
So his impact on the lanes is not going to be huge.
And you have to be very careful. Even when he gets the Blink Dagger, it's still very easy for EG to catch and find him. Zeus ulti gives vision. PL can then Phantom Rush down. Tusk can snowball in.
Yeah, snowball in on the mid lane. Yep. Brish in some trouble, but gets bolted down, and that's a killing spree ended as well for Sumail.
I like that Sumail's just last hitting a lot of these kills too. He really needs all the farm he can get. He got ganked a few times in lane. And will be taking what kills he can.
Yeah, and as soon as he gets the Force Staff, his game gets 10 times easier, because at that point, he doesn't have to worry really about the clockwork. Even super helpful against the Gyrocopter, right? If you happen to find yourself in the middle of a call down, you can just Force Staff yourself out, get some good positioning that way. I do wonder what kind of build he's going to be going for. And I guess the big question is how quickly he rushes the Ags, since that's really the big thing that they're aiming for against the Tinker. Oh, action up top.
Yeah, they're going to go on the Legion Commander again. The Illuminate going through, not enough to bring him down initially, but with the Ice Shots block, there's going to be follow-up as the Tinker TP's in. The boots of travel timing, helping get themselves a Tusk kill.
And now the Shard.
Yeah, he's found another kill. Gets Misery.
Yeah. Nice hook in. Second hook of the game for Brish, but amazing turnaround. I think the Shards, it blocked the Legion, but maybe didn't do damage. And so BFL surviving a little bit longer, which was really nice for him. And I think extremely important that they kept the Legion alive through that gank, because this Legion needs a lot of help to catch back up and get the Blink Dagger.
And getting the Tinker involved anytime there's action like that, because he's got the boots of travel. He needs to be at those fights, even with just, well, now he's got the max out heat-seeking missiles. I think before that fight they were level 3, maybe level 2.
Snowballing on the Gyrocopter.
This poor Gyro. Be having a rough time. Tinker's going to show up with a call down. Have they got the damage for this one? Tinker cancels his TP. Even with the clockwork rotation in, did not feel comfortable doing. Now he's going to try TP out. Arteezy is there. He can kill that range group if he needed to. Tinker again canceling the TP. I believe Clockwork should be getting chased down here. This time Tinker does TP in, needs to be careful. Snowballing through will clip him. Gonna look for the kill on Crit. Crit's got earn charges there, but he gets chased down, brought down by the Rubik. Arteezy now in full retreat. Doppelganger's away. It's Rubik in some trouble. Gets the lift onto Zeus. Zeus getting low on mana here. Trying to finish off the Rubik here. The Peel Illusion doing what it can, but not really enough here. Zeus still searching around, has a creep on him, giving Tinker the vision he needs.
5 seconds on the ultimate. Sumail might still get the Rubik after everything is said and done. Wait for it.
Sumail, have mercy. Have mercy. Rubik's just standing there. He's like, Tinker, give me some bottle charges, bro. Where are the bottle charges?
All right, he thought about it, but decided against it in the end. Maybe I don't know if they caught a glimpse of him running back, or maybe figured that the Tinker was going to come in and help him out.
Yeah. Well, as it stands, Tinker now going to go bottom, look to defend this one, but Fear's already taken the tower down, gets caught by the hook shot though. Tossed out, but with the Tinker showing up, he doesn't get the rearm off because of the avalanche. Fear's still low on mana here, will get chased down by the battery assault. Nicely played there. Getting a core kill on the Tiny. This Tinker is starting to pick up some steam.
And this Clockwork's been everywhere as well. I really have to give some props to Brish. He found those kills initially on mid. He's made rotations top successfully. He's headed down bottom as well, and also found some kills there. So really putting in a lot of work for his team. Though unfortunately, they are still kind of getting out-farmed across the board. And he's actually more farmed than his Gyrocopter at the moment, which is not a good sign at all.
Yeah, that is worrying. This Gyro is
now Gyro may be dead
again. Chased, brought down. Sumail's there. The Observer Ward in the dire jungle, helping find him, get vision of him. Sumail's got that Force Staff, and you talk about how his game gets so much better. He's now got that mobility. He doesn't have to be as afraid of a Clockwork, and making up for Zeus's biggest weakness.
And they've jumped on the Tinker up top. We put the blink revealed for Fear. He might actually get turned around on here. Crick gonna try for the save. They've also got Sumail coming in. He bolts down one more. Can he get the Rubik kill? Arteezy might swipe it with one more hit. And EG, I mean, they lose the old man once again, but do find yet another couple of kills.
Tusk couldn't quite get in for the save, but did cancel the rearm and bring down Tinker, so enough done as far as killing off the big core hero in Tinker to make that well worth it.
Gyro just continuing to use call down to try and find some farm, get his way back into the game. Does have a little ancient stack here to clean up, which is going to help, but not completely recover him. I mean, he's still just on this kind of cheap, cost-efficient items that he's going to be going for, but I don't think there's any point where he really stays ahead of the burst damage of EG, right? We're looking at him for the next 20 minutes probably getting avatossed into a lightning bolt and then just dying.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even with the Sans and more health, there's so much magic burst damage with the tiny combo, the Illuminate, the Zeus. I mean, PL hasn't even come online yet. I mean, it has the Battle Fury, is farming fast, but this game just gets harder for Gyrocopter as it goes on until the BKB timing is really when he can fight and stay alive. But the problem is by the time when he gets the BKB, that's when PL's going to be ready to kind of man up and fight him with the physical damage.
Yeah, and it's even going to be difficult for him to, I think, just use the flak against the PL, right? That's probably part of the point of the Gyrocopter pick here, but Gyro being able to stand in front line is tough. And we even talked about it at the beginning of the game, they kind of need the Gyro to, or somebody to be able to frontline a little bit so that they can set up for their Legion Commander and the Tinker to really do their job. Because if your frontline just collapses, then it's going to be really difficult for Tinker to do anything. So, at least he's got Blink now. That's certainly helpful.
Yep. Blink is up. We'll see Legion Commander try and finish his Blink Dagger. That's perhaps where Barracx can start making some plays and smoking around the map to find some key pickoffs, but he's still 600-ish away, trying to get that farm on in the bottom lane. He's baiting right now. Clockwork as well as Rubik lingering around. And problem is EG's vision right now is fantastic. 4 great observer wards on the map, likely scouting out those movements towards bottom. So it feels like PG.Barracx can't make any clever ganks until they actually deward or use smoke.
Yeah, and we haven't touched on it either, but that's one thing that Zeus is also amazing at, is playing the vision game. Especially when you've got the Keeper of the Light, you can afford to just spam Lightning Bolt to deward without really having to worry about hurting your mana pool too badly. He's also purchasing up a Kaio, which is also going to help out. And that just means it's going to be really difficult for PG.Barracx to keep wards on the map and actually know where EG are moving around. And not only do they have the vision game from Zeus, they're later going to have it from the Keeper of the Light with the Aghanim Scepter.
Here come EG bottom. They know that PG.Barracx are around here setting up a bait, but they're going to bring 3 heroes smoke up. Kair on Sumail, so he's going to do a lot of damage here. Brish has a hood. Instead, it's going to be the Legion Commander. Just bought the Blink. Hookshot comes in. They're trying to save me. The Legion Commander doing what he can here. Not going to go for the duel on Crit. Crit getting pushed around by the cogs here. Sumail doing big damage here. Not really so much the Clockwork because of that hood. Now he's in some trouble. Tries to force stuff out of there. Does get clipped by the homing missile coming in soon. There's going to be the ultimate thrown out from him. Snowball to chase down the Gyrocopter. The cogs push back. Gets Crit away, and Rams will somehow survive the time being for the earn damage, as well as the toss was there to make sure he gets brought down. And EG trade 1-for-1, losing Coddle in the fight, but the entire time that's going on, PL's just farming. He's got a Battle Fury.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. The Gyro just got evaporated. He walked in full HP, put the call down there, and then got bolted in the face, and almost immediately disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, well, he doesn't survive through. He survived for a long time, but ultimately he's not doing any damage in these fights, which is kind of
Rubik with the doppel. Did not go up the cliff, just trying to get back to the tier 2, but Arteezy's not going to let him go. Just runs him down under the tier 2 tower. Nothing that Rubik can do in that situation. Oh, man.
Nicely played. The problems for PG.Barracx this game continue to add up. It really feels like it's going to be all on this Tinker, and the Tinker does have several counters in play to worry about. Got another replay of that last fight there. Really, it feels like this Clockwork is doing so much this game as far as saving teammates, setting up kills. He hooks up there to save the Legion Commander.
Almost look at this Gyro, though. He turns up, he gets hit by an avalanche, he gets hit by the lightning bolt, almost dies. The one charges save him.
I can't believe he didn't die to this snowball. That was such a great cogs from the Clockwork there, but he's earned up, so he's just ticking away. There's just so little he can do. Does look like he will commit to the SMY build. Not gonna. It felt like in some ways he just needed to rush a BKB. Yeah, you do no damage, so maybe it's one of those you buy BKB, but you're gonna lose because you do nothing with it. But
yeah,
it's such a tough spot to be in. There is no build that works.
Yeah, and there isn't even really anything as Gyrocopter that he can go to accelerate his farm at this point. And even if he did, even if there was an item that would increase his farm rate by that much, they just don't have the space on the map at the moment to actually farm. Maybe if they'd taken the tier 1 tower bottom, they'd be able to set up in the Radiant jungle a little bit, and that's where Gyrocopter could just alternate between the tri-camp area and the Radiant jungle and actually start to pick up the pace. But so long as this tier 1 tower stands, the Gyrocopter's never really going to get too much more farm. And it's hard to push into the Keeper of the Light. You see Misery down here. He's just spamming at all the waves, and I don't think he even really minds if he gets caught. by a rocket flare or something like that.
They set up the ward behind the tower, but EG are going for a tier 2 up top, as well as chasing down this Tinker. Tinker, blinks away. No Zeus ultimate. The Zeus ultimate did scout out his smoke, and that's the problem. PG.Barracx are trying to find these kills. Zeus ulti just finding them, scanning them. Misery, is he going to get caught here? It looks likely. They're so close to him. They can't get through, I guess. Misery tucked away in deep here.
Oh, he did such a good job with the Force Staff, not cutting down those 2 little trees the Rubik can't run through.
Oh, and they're about to get blasted again. Lesser Blue is just like,
what is going on?
And then he's going to force even further
all right. I think they have it this time. Maybe BFL run up. Let's get a duel win here. Maybe did they do enough damage at the beginning? Can they actually burst him down? They have to win this duel, please. All right, there you go. 14 damage for the Legion Commander.
Oh, Rubik stole Illuminate. That's some strong D push coming out from him now.
Oh, it's really nice to have, actually.
They get the tower, but they lose a tier 2 up top. Not really ideal, but it's something.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this opens up the map significantly for them. They're going to get some wards down over here in the Radiant jungle.
Oh, Tiny. He found the Tinker. It was in the trees. Oh, he's going with the lasers. He blinks away. He gets a tree thrown at him. He's going to get out of this one. Yes! Whoa, what a play from Shiny MF. Does not panic under pressure. Just throws a laser, instantly goes for the rearm, and somehow survives through it all. Zeus ulti was used to scout him in the trees there for fear.
Yeah, that was really well done. And he's straight back to just pressuring out bottom. This is going to create a bit of space. They do have the Legion Commander lurking, and maybe Misery once again.
Misery could be in trouble here if he's not careful, but it doesn't look like they want to go for this.
Doesn't get hit by the Illuminate. They know that he's in those trees over there.
Yep.
There you go.
They're going in. Tinker needs some follow-up damage here. Will blink in. Fear is there to save the day, but the dual kill still succeeds. Fear now in some trouble here. He's rearmed. Can he find Fear? Doesn't look like he's going to TP on out, leave the Legion Commander to the walls, but Clockwork's there to save the day again. We've seen this one before. Brish will catch Sumail. Illuminate stolen from the Rubik. Not going to bring down Sumail. The damage wasn't there, and unfortunately, Tinker just couldn't stay and fight. I believe he mostly ran out of mana there. If he could have stayed a bit longer, throw some more spells, they may have found an extra kill or 2. Really nicely done from the Indonesian squad.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately for the Tinker, he went back to get mana, and then the creep wave wasn't all that close, so couldn't really return to the fight immediately. Arteezy's just been farming this entire time. We haven't really seen him do too much just yet.
Have not really had much to say because, yeah, like you say, normally I feel like PL for the longest time was getting picked for that diffusal power spike, which you get like 15 minutes in the game when you rush like Tread's diffusal or you go diffusal boosted travel. The PL we're seeing here is an entirely different hero, essentially, because of when he spikes and when he actually looks to fight. This is much more like an anti-mage style game coming out from Arteezy.
Yeah, very much about just hitting that sort of 3-4 item timing and then going to work. He does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up now, so going to be very difficult to lock him down. There are, I mean, there's a couple of ways to pop it. I guess maybe the spell steal from the Rubik notably, and he also has Arc Lightning stolen right now, but it's just going to be tough to do anything about the PL.
Again, the smoke coming out. This time Zeus not using the ultimate scatter. They will see crit. He pops the smoke. Will they get the kill on him? Potential blink in, but it gets cancelled by the Zeus here, and they may look to go on this Legion Commander. Snowball is there to potentially save here. Crit needs to be careful. He's actually just snowballed in. Will Arteezy join the fight? He's TP'd in. He's rated now. Play ball. As PG.Barracx getting chased down by EG with the PL showing up. That's going to be the death of the Legion Commander. Snowball stolen from the Rubik will be the death of him. They need to get out. Shiny MF does escape. EG finally bringing the PL into fight, and they take that fight convincingly. Although they perhaps don't get all the kills they were hoping for, just finding a support and offlaner.
Yeah, they were really hoping, I think, to pincer more with the TPs coming in from the Shrine, but PG.Barracx chose a really good angle to escape. Tinker realizing that the fight was over, and even Gyrocopter just immediately, I think, TP'd away, ran mid, started grabbing a little bit of additional farm. He's slowly making his way towards this BKB, which is, I guess, the next big timing for Barracx, along with the Aghanim Scepter, which they're just about to pick up on the Tinker.
He's got the money for it. That's a lot of good farm on Shiny MF. We'll see what build he goes for next. I feel like there's... This is where, you know, this is your standard setup for the Tinker. You can go now into a Hex, Shiver's Guard for some illusions. You often see the Dagon build. I feel like an unconventional item that may be appropriate. This game is even a BKB against the Zeus. Perhaps not as his next time, but it does feel like an item that eventually may be needed.
Yeah, especially given that he's gone for the Spell Amp talent and a Kaya instead of an Aether Lens. It makes life way more difficult in terms of your positioning. I think the reason that he does it is because, like we've been saying, there's actually a lot of vision to scout him in the trees, so hiding on the edge of the map isn't actually necessarily that safe. Oh, Lesser Blue just going to come running right up into EG here on the high ground. Gets chain stun. Can he actually save himself? Ice Shard's out there. They've also got the Cogs getting dropped down, but I think there's just too much damage. And now Brish also trapped. Can they chase him down? Arteezy arriving now with his Diffusal Blade in hand. There's a hook shot to buy a few more seconds as the Rockets just keep on raining through from the side of the fight, but not enough to bring anybody down, and EG claimed 2 more kills.
Yeah. You can see the survivability is kind of building up on the PG.Barracx side, but a situation like that, you know, EG's just picked a better fight to begin with. Rubik, I like the build. He's not leveling up telekinesis. He's going for more. He's got 3 points in null field already, recognizing this Zeus is a hero that's a problem. If you can't deal with him in a fight, he's going to do absurd amounts of damage. So they are itemizing and building to counter the Zeus and the magic damage output, but they still need to pick better fights.
Yeah, and the Clockwork, like we said, was quite farmed, so he's actually got a pipe finished up, which is certainly going to help out. I feel like this Legion Commander pick is still really not panning out. I understand the idea against the Phantom Lancer, but that just hasn't really worked at all this game, right? The idea is supposed to be that you can get some kills, or you can at least control the illusions early on and then potentially find him in a fight and kill him off. But like we've been saying, Arteezy just being off, finding safe farm, split pushing, and I'm just not so sure if Legion Commander's that strong of a hero at the moment. What's your general take on Legion?
I haven't seen it successfully used in a lot of pro games lately, it feels like.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like a hero that can be hard to make work. And even a game like this where you're against a lot of these illusions, it feels more like a Band-Aid than anything. It's like, you know, we can put this Band-Aid on this PL problem, but it's going to get ripped off at some point. PL's going to get farmed enough, or he's just going to itemize such that he has where he doesn't care if he's illusion side because he's got Battle Fury Lincolns. He does a huge amount of right-click damage just with his main hero and cannot be locked down by the Jewel because of this Lincoln's pickup, so.
Yeah, and he's going straight into a Heart just after that, so Arteezy going to be able to play the fringes of the fight. Going to be very, very difficult to burst down. It's maybe not quite the same as it was in the previous game where I felt like Barracx had kind of limited burst damage. The Tinker, the longer he survives, is going to be able to put down a significant amount of damage for his team, but between the Lincolns and the Heart, I just don't really see Arteezy dying unless he makes a really crucial mistake.
Hook shot.
Oh, the hook gets blocked.
Unsuccessful. And Coddle is very close to that Ag Scepter, which will be very nifty for finding the Tinker in these fights. I mean, as if they didn't need more ways. You've already got the Zeus, now you're going to have a Coddle as well. Tiny Fear has a BKB, so he can jump in kind of willy-nilly into that Tinker if he so chooses and not worry too much about his safety.
The one thing that is very similar this game compared to the last game, and maybe this is just EG's overall approach. Oh, shiny MF. Can he get the Blink Dagger back off cooldown? He's fine. But the one thing that is really similar this game compared to the previous game is that EG focusing a lot on just having the ability to shove lanes. And maybe even more this game than the previous. When they've got the Keeper of the Light, we're seeing him use the recall to move the Zeus around the map, keep shoving out all the lanes, and really just restricting the farm. I think that's a big part of where this 13k net worth difference is coming in. EG just have so much more of the map to use, and the combination of heroes that they happen to have is that they can actually kind of use the entire map. Fear's taking the Radiant jungle at the moment, Arteezy is taking part of the Dire jungle and the entire top lane, and they're moving Sumail around as needed to take the other farm on the map.
Even going back to the old like PPD-led EG, I feel like that's always been a very distinct EG playstyle thing, is farming efficiency, being able to just get the maximum amount of farm in all the lanes and jungle. They've been a team that often didn't care about getting kills. They'll be down 5 kills, 10 kills in the first 20, 30 minutes, but you can tell from the game, you know, like they're out farming their opponents, they're going to win. They don't look to end the game fast necessarily. They just look to hit that critical mass around 30 minutes often where they just out farm their opponents and can just win by sheer item advantage.
Yeah, and I think at this point the only hero that they're really worried about is the Tinker, and all of the items that they have coming up in the next few minutes are anti-Tinker items. There's the Ags for the Zeus, there's the Ags for the Keeper of the Light. Tiny has a BKB now, so
pipe on Tusk.
Yeah, everything that they're doing is EG just preparing for that that big daytime push that they're going to be going for. Probably maybe even grab the Roshan if they feel like they need it. And then even the heart on the Phantom Lancer to a certain extent, right? Go up, chip a little bit, you take some rockets, you take a laser or two, you doppel out, you can go and heal up, and then you can come right back in and just keep chipping. EG probably appreciating that they don't have the best building siege, but kind of itemizing to get around it.
Again, Zeus ulti scouting out the Barracx heroes spread around the map, and it feels like EG, half the reason they're also waiting is also they know their timing very much comes later in the game. They get strongest with like this Ags on Coddle, this Ags on Zeus. That's really their true power spike in the mid to late game. Not to mention some of their talents. Zeus level 20 talent, PL's level 25 talent. These are very big power spikes for these heroes.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Gyrocopters just picked up a BKB, which is kind of a... It just leaves them dead in the water if they don't actually manage to go and find a fight, right? It's not really going to help you farm. It is part of the reason that they feel confident enough to come down here and take this bottom tier 2, but EG just immediately head into the Roshan pit.
It's going to die before they get there. Rocket Flare will scout it out, but PL with the double damage. Tinker is there. Does he go for this kill? He does deal with the illusion somewhat. Now he's being caught out, but there's the hook shot. He didn't get stabbed. Brish finds Arteezy, steals the Aegis. Can they take this fight? Coming in from behind is the rest of the team. Rams is there with the BKB, catches out Keeper of the Light. Finished off by the Rubik Fable. They want more. Arteezy needs to doppelganger dodge the missile. Will do so. Has the heart regen. He can turn and fight with the double damage. He's ready to fight through the BKB. Wearing off on the Gyrocopter. As PG.Barracx in full retreat. They may have snatched his Aegis, but they're in some trouble here. Fear with a BKB in the front line brings down the Tinker. Tinker dead, Gyro dead. This is not looking good for the Indonesian squad as Legion gain focus down, punched up, TP cancelled. Zeus will ulti, catch out the Clockwork hero. Sumail wants to finish off this Clockwork. He's got 2 lives though. They may just let him go. They don't care about him. They can now take out the buildings. Great fight for EG.
It looks like Fear just managed to chase down the Tinker even before the fight broke out again over by the Rune, and Gyro with no BKB. Tinker already going to be forced to buy back into the game. EG don't even necessarily need the Aegis.
I like this. Arteezy just immediately runs at the tier 4s. He's like, I'm going to find this Tinker. I'm not going to let him spam missiles march on that creep wave because I'm just going to zone him as far away as possible. Tier 3 tower down, EG playing it safe, recognizing these respawns are still pretty short, so they're going to fall back, go for the Shrine, and perhaps wait for some of their spells like the Zeus ultimate to cool down.
Yeah, it's daytime now as well. They've only got 20 seconds to go on the BKB for the Tiny, so I think a very short detour to take down the Shrine, and then probably looking to head up onto the high ground. I mean, we're one Tinker death away at this point from the game just completely ending.
Yeah. That buyback very much was the... not quite the last straw, but it sets things up to be there.
Yeah.
As Zeus with Ag Scepter level 20. This is where that Tinker needs a BKB. Problem is he just fought back, so getting that BKB up can perhaps take a bit of time here.
Radiant Scan gonna scout the rest of the heroes rotating across. So very, very difficult to do anything.
Called out, so.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do anything about the PL. The line is drawn from Crit. Straight up the middle lane, they're going to shove it in, force them back. There's a hook.
Crit. Oh, pushes him back, but the jewel was there. I don't think he needed that one. Zeus ulti to try and buy some time, stunning up the Legion. Crit is just taking 0 damage here. Snowballs through, gets the Sun of the Legion, then catches the Gyro BKBs, tries to turn and fight. He doesn't really have a whole lot of backup here. They're trying to fight under the Nimbus cloud, and it's going to be the Rubik going down as well here. Arteezy just is not being dealt with. Fear as well on the Tiny. He doesn't even need to BKB for this fight. Sumail has found a couple of kills here. Shiny MF cannot blink away. He's been hit by the urn. He's been brought down, and that's the dieback. Tinker dead for 80. They smoke forward. They're just smoking to get to the racks faster, as this will be the death of the mid racks, possibly the end of the game, because they've got a 25k gold lead and no Tinker to defend.
Yeah, and with no Tinker, they have absolutely no way to deal with the PL at all. Brish gonna get caught here as well. That's his Aegis popped, and the GG's gonna get called. With that, EG taking the series.
A noble effort. And that Roche contest was definitely a fun last-ditch effort. The Clockwork actually getting the Aegis steal, but they couldn't deal enough damage there. The Gyrocopter just had this BKB. He was completely taken out of this game. 0, 8, and 4 Rams. He just didn't get to play Dota this game.
No, I mean, they kind of set up for the aggro tri-lane, but that ended up trading overall, and then the Legion was getting zoned out up at top. They tried to shuffle the lanes around a little bit to try and recoup the farm, but unfortunately, when you've got a Tinker, especially on your lineup, he's also going to be spending the first 15, 20 minutes grabbing his farm before he even really has an impact. And at that point, everything fell to the supports on PG.Barracx to actually get anything done. Meanwhile, they're just getting spammed nonstop by the Tiny, the Zeus, and the Phantom Lancer. So they fell behind early, and it just felt like they were never really able to catch up. And that was the story for Rams the entire game.
I mean, again, we see this kind of EG tri-core. Last game, the Knicks effectively playing as a core. Misery even just got to farm up the jungle. Everything just seemed to fit together well with EG. It just didn't feel like PG.Barracx were able to pressure them at all. You're winning all three lanes like that, and PG.Barracx weren't doing enough in the early game.
Do you feel like this is a good start for EG? This is their first official Captain's Mode series with the new roster. Do you feel like you've managed to get a little bit of a read on them as a team, or?
It's very hard to say because it's just kind of the warm-up tournament for their new lineup after Captain's Draft. It's also a warm-up match where they're versing the wildcard team. I think EG coming in as tournament favorites despite having the new roster because of OG playing with stand-ins. TNC, perhaps the other team, they're already in the lower bracket. So I think for EG it's promising, but there's much tougher matches ahead for them.
Yeah, still plenty more of the tournament to go.
Yeah. Well, EG taking the win there. I believe we're going to head back to the panel as we wrap up our second best of 3 of the day.
Thank you, GoDz and Basskip. It looks like for now, Team Rocket are blasting off again.
Sounds about right.
Yep. So, looks like EG, they're going to finish off that series 2-0, looking very comfortable, but they did some very interesting change-ups with their lanes. They actually stuck Sumo back into the middle lane on that Zeus.
I think it's to make sure that they have the offensive tri lane that we mentioned with the PL and the Kato, and then they wanted Tiny in the safe lane. Tiny could go mid against Tinker, but the laser makes it pretty hard, so the lane matchup just worked out just fine. The one downside for putting the Zeus mid is that it made the Clockwork gank very easy, and that happened multiple times. But apart from that, it was pretty smooth sailing for EG laning-wise.
Well, at least I'm keeping my hair, not just the beard, but all
Even
the hair that I
Tsunami
bet.
as well.
Yep.
It's okay, guys, another time.
It was pretty much a one-sided match, the second series, as I expected pretty much everyone else, I suppose. But kudos to PG.Barracx for a good showing. I mean, they're still not out. They can go through the lower bracket, even though it's a harder choice. Not the choice that they made, huh?
Yeah, just a reminder for people at home, we are going to be playing 2 lower bracket matches today. So if you want to keep an eye out on PG.Barracx and you want to see how they progress, we're going to have that a little bit later on. So we actually have the highlights that's going to be coming up very soon. So let's break the game from A to B and see where everything went wrong and where everything went right.
They placed the lane right. Sumail on mid as Zeus, and the offensive tri lane with Coddle, Phantom Lancer, and Tusk. It's pretty much a free farm for a Phantom Lancer. He also went for a Battle Fury build, which we mentioned. Not usually what you see, but it's really doable. You can pull it off. It's more of a late game oriented.
Yeah, he went for the Battle Fury and also the Max Phantom Rush, and it's probably the most efficient farming build if you just have the whole map free to farm. And that's essentially what happened. I think EG just took fights 4 versus 5. The PL got to do whatever he wanted. After his offensive item, he went into Lincoln's, pretty much understanding that the only way he will ever die is getting dueled and getting jumped on by 5. But I think RTZ ended up the game with, what, 4-0 and 12, so he never died. So Bill was perfect, play perfectly, win the game.
Yeah, let's see some of the highlights.
This is dumb making dives. I think this is actually Tinker's first few dives. So he actually managed to die here. No, it looks like I think the Rubik died, and then the Tinker died afterwards. So watching the game, do you think that Zeus actually, could they have won with a different hero? Or
Yeah,
was Zeus?
I think Zeus could have been any other mid hero that they wanted, but they wanted the vision for Tinker. That's why I mentioned it, especially for the late game with Aghanim Scepter. It's really a good counter to a Tinker. I love the build on Tinker though. He itemized pretty well with Kaya, Blink, Aghanims against the PL Illusions. Had BKB queued up, but had to buy back and the game ended. Like BKB is super good to counter the Zeus, especially with the Aghanims. Also, Sumail pretty much prevented every single smoke gank with his ultimate.
There was actually like multiple smoke ganks we saw. They smoked up immediate Zeus, so it's like, okay, well, I guess we go back to farming.
Speaking about going into a late game, if the game drawn out for maybe another 20 to 30 minutes, what do you think the chances are for PG.Barracx to take the game? Do you feel like they needed time or they needed to end it earlier?
I don't think they had enough control, especially for PL. Super defensive build on side of Arteezy with that Lincoln Sphere. I mean, Legion Commander was building towards Heaven's Halberd so he can remove the Lincolns, but the supports were super underfarmed. You have a Clock, you have a Rubik, on the other side you have a Caudle, who scales amazingly into late game.
How do you think the Legion picked fared for PG.Barracx? Did it work all according to plan, or do you feel like the hero could have been played better, wrong draft?
I think on paper it was a very good pick. We saw the power of the nuke versus the illusions. It's just that he got stuck in the tri-lane where I think he got pressured very hard. He didn't get an early blink because of that. So I think LC versus PL is something that a lot of teams turn to, and it has worked well in the past, but just in this game, he wasn't able to get his items on time.
I'm not feeling Legion Commander when you're playing from behind. It doesn't catch up. Like, you want to have those duels early on. He didn't have any level 1 duels at all. The first one that he had were actually level 2 duels.
Level 2 duels.
Yeah.
Then ideally you want to be getting level 1 duels, correct?
You want to get as much duels as you can.
Every time it comes off cooldown, you should get damage, you know, ideally.
Now, I guess it makes sense though. They didn't really have a lineup that has some sort of burst to kill someone straight away once you have the duel lockdown. They sort of had Rubik there, Clockwork. They're not notorious for bursting heroes down. They're great for locking them down, but when it came to killing them, you're not running your own Jakiro, you're not running anyone that can kill.
They had Gyro plus Clockwork. It's more than enough, especially if you combine it with Gyro, Rocket Barrage plus ulti. He had a good timing on a Blade Mail as well, so there was a lot of solo kill potential, but you can't really go in, especially against the Zeus ulti and the Snowball from Tusk to save.
Okay, so it looks like for now we're going to be heading on over to the main stage because it looks like Airy has something for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Evil Geniuses 2-0 against PG.Barracx. I'm here with their captain, Misery. How is it feeling now? Playing, getting a few games in, how is it feeling together, coming together as a team?
It feels good. I mean, we were definitely the favorites in this match. That being said, I think they played pretty well, so it wasn't just a walkover. But yeah, it feels good to play some Dota.
Together. The tri-lane for game 1 for PG.Barracx, they were doing pretty well initially. How were you guys feeling like, okay, when they were bringing it that way?
I mean, we kind of knew what they were going to do. I think maybe we should have changed our lanes. Maybe we should have played a little bit differently with the lane setup we had. I don't think it was the biggest deal because they were pretty all in. Monkey King is strong in lane, but then he kind of falls off like after 10 minutes, right? So our team fight was stronger, and we have the Medusa, so we weren't really worried. But yeah.
Still, of course, effort by PG.Barracx. One strat, can you tell us about the Meme Hammer strat on, of course, game 1? Can you tell us a little bit about the Meme Hammer strat?
I mean, I think it's just a very solid item on Nyx Assassin, because you can like stun into another stun from Invis, so, and then you also have push, right? I think that's just the build right now.
Very cool. Can you explain, because of course the plan was to have Sumail off lane, but you switch him back to mid. What was the decision, what was the reason behind that decision?
I mean, Dota is in a place where the whole roles and the positions, they don't, like the core roles don't matter as much. Like, I mean, in a sense where off lane is not necessarily off lane. People take that too literally, I think. Yeah, I think we're going to see Sumail go in all 3 lanes. We're going to see Arteezy go in all 3 lanes, and same for Fear. It's just going to depend on the heroes.
All right, well, I mean, props to PG.Barracx putting up, of course, a fight, but we have Evil Geniuses moving forward in the upper bracket. Round of applause, Misery, Manila fans, of course, and there you have it, your winners, EG.